Toby the Secret Mine is a Steam release from 2015 that was ported to the Switch in 2018. It is a platformer that serves both as a puzzle game as well as an action game. But does it do this well? Hello everybody, my name is Ekay and you're watching Ekay Tech. During this video I will have some gameplay running somewhere around here probably. I might be poking it with my finger as we speak, I'm not quite certain yet, but I guess we'll see in the end. Anyway, funny stuff out of the way, I bought this game for about €5 on the Nintendo eShop and I have to say I am very much surprised by this game. Initially I was mainly surprised by the art style, because the art style reminded me very much of Limbo, which is a game that shares the same graphical style. It might even be created by the same guys, I did not bother to check, but if it is then I probably will add it into the video later. The thing I really liked about the art style is that it uses a very black and dark color palette in general. It uses a lot of black, it uses a lot of grey, and it contrasts these colors with some yellow, with some green, with some orange, so some very bright colors. Creates a very nice contrast between the dark colors, between the light colors, and you'll be able to see it in the footage that's probably right about there. To my huge surprise, the game was actually really fun. I wasn't expecting too much for the price tag of about €5. It starts out as mainly just a simple platformer, you know, you push some cards, press some buttons, push some blocks onto other things, just some very standard, straightforward puzzling. So I was like, okay, it's gonna be a puzzle game, it's gonna be easy. You know, the puzzles might become a bit difficult, and I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, by the way, just, you know, they're just going like this right now. But as the game proceeded, as the game progressed, you got into more and more action. So, you know, there were lasers and there were like giant rotating axe-like things, chainsaw-like things trying to kill you, and you could actually die later. There were sort of enemies. And it was actually very cool because it reminded me more and more of Ori and Blind Forest, which is a game that I absolutely love. One very important thing to mention, however, is that the puzzles don't just disappear. The puzzles sort of transition. And what I mean by that is that instead of them being very simple puzzles, instead of them just being push a block, it is push a block while you're within these conditions where you might die. So it's puzzling under tension, but since the game has a really easy respawn time, like you respawn just before you die, you can always try again. So it's very nice. Try and error. For example, there's this point in the game where you're on a bit of a ship, on a sort of like a platform that can turn, and you have to rotate it by standing on the left side or the right side to rotate the plane, and you have to navigate this between a couple of spikes. I might have some footage of this, if so I'll show it up here once again. I'm not quite sure yet, so I'm gonna have to check that. Anyway, the puzzling just transforms into something incredible, and I can't recommend that enough if you enjoy those types of gameplay. Now, in terms of sound design, I actually did not write this down, but I just thought of it. I was like, you know what, I have to talk about sound design. So, it's actually very simple. There isn't too much music in the game. It's also very in the background. You know, there's some minor sounds, some sound effects. It's all very subtly done, but it's good. You know, in this game, it's very atmospheric. It's very simple. There doesn't have to be a lot of music. There doesn't have to be a giant musical score with epic music. There is some in later parts of the game, don't get me wrong, there is some very good music, but it's very simple, but it works. Story-wise, the game is also very straightforward. The game is about a character whose entire village got kidnapped. You are the last remaining villager, and you have to try and follow this evil dude because you have to set them free, of course. I mean, you are the good boy. As the game progresses, you move through specific areas. You start out in a very simple, even like mountainy, foresty area. I can't remember, I'm just trying to think on top of my head where you start. It's a very simple area. You move into a bit more of a rainy area, you go into a windy area, there's a snowy area, you move down below. There's like, you know, all kinds of different cave-like looks, and it's very nice, it's very simple, but it uses the art style very well, and I'm actually looking forward to more of these kind of games because I did really enjoy it because it's just so simple but so good. Also, while there is no dialogue, the story is very easy to follow. I mean, you just follow a guy and try and set your people free, so That's pretty much all there is. One thing that's actually worth mentioning is that the game does not hold your hand. So it doesn't tell you after about 30 seconds of you not being able to figure it out, like, oh, by the way, dude, you should press this button right here and then press this other button right here and then you're done. No, it was like, you know, you have these options. Some things are a bit hidden and I had some trouble finding some stuff. I got stuck a couple of times, but I enjoyed that because it forced me to look around the area a bit more. It forced me to, you know, try and find specific ways to solve puzzles. It was a lot of fun because there's just a lot of interaction with the environment instead of the game telling you this is what you have to do, so you know, go ahead and do it because, you know, we want the game to be easy. No, they don't want the game to be easy, they want the game to be fun. Something that I do have to mention about this game, which is very important, is that the performance was actually incredible. The game runs at a smooth 60 FPS. I have not seen it drop once below 60 FPS. I have only played dock mode, which means that I cannot really tell that handheld mode is the same. Let me correct that. I played about 10 minutes in handheld mode to record some footage, and you know, I wanted to test how the game worked, but as far as I've played just to start, we're perfectly fine. So I'm pretty certain both the dock mode and the undocked mode, so the portable mode, work perfectly fine. They're both locked at 60 FPS, they don't drop at all, and you can trust me on this. I'm a PC Master Race snob, as you guys can see from this system right behind me, the screen right here, and there's an ultra wide sitting right here. I care about my FPS. If my games drop FPS, I can't handle. So this game has my PC Master Race seal of approval, so if you're someone like that, it's something to keep in mind. Alright, so to wrap things up a bit, if you are someone who does not want to stand there for about 15 minutes questioning your life and why did you choose this super hard, horrible puzzle game, then this game is for you, because this game, while being sort of tricky at some point, it's not really hard. If you are someone who likes action-based games a bit more, then this game might also be for you. Keep in mind though that the first 30 to 60 minutes, depending on your speed, of course, is not as actiony. Of course, there's a lot of puzzling there, but there's a very nice subtle transition here. So if you're into either puzzle or action games, especially of course if you like the both of them, this is a game for you. It's a great game, it's very cheap, pick it up. Alright, so there's two circumstances in which I do not recommend you pick up this game. It is either when you rage very easily, because this game has a lot of trial and error. You are going to be dying quite a lot and you're going to be trying to figure some stuff out while you're dying, and if you quit after one death, then this game is not for you. But that's, you know, it's a fair statement because it's, you know, the platform, you're going to die. The other one is, of course, if you don't find any fun in puzzling, if you're like, a puzzle, no, I don't want to go back to school, I want to have some fun, I want to shoot some things. You know, if you're someone like that, and, you know, don't feel offended by my weird accent there, if you're someone who just doesn't like puzzling, which I totally could understand, I don't recommend picking this game up, because there's just too much puzzling in here for you to find it fun. For me personally, this game was a blast. I spent €5 on it once again on the Nintendo eShop, so I tested the Switch version, and I would have easily paid double it for it. One last thing to finish this video off, I played this game with my girlfriend. We did some one death pass, which means that if you die, the other person starts playing. We had a blast. You know, it's a lot of fun playing this game together, you know, switching the controllers around, just because there's a lot of puzzling there. You can just try to figure some stuff out together. And it just makes for a very nice experience. So if you are someone who wants to play a game a bit in that similar fashion, then this is a good game for that. It's short, you can play it in one sitting, it's slightly rage-inducing, but it's kind of funny seeing other people fail. Am I right? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. See you around, guys.